Hi, I'm Rich from the Early Years Toolkit, and in this video we're going to help you create a world where your children resolve their own conflicts. Now there's tons of research in this area, so we've done our best to collate as much of it as we can into 5 tried and tested steps to help you do this. And step number 4 is a real game changer. If you want to be the first to see any of our future videos where we take loads of research and put it down into some simple steps, then hit subscribe. Now it's probably pretty fair to say that early years children are pretty impulsive creatures. I don't know, just putting that out there. But when it comes to sharing toys, they actually live by some pretty strict rules. If I like it, yeah, that's mine. If it's in my hand, well, yeah, it's in my hand, it's mine. If I saw it first, obviously it's mine. If you put it down, you put it down, obviously it's mine. If it's broken, nah, you have that. Now these rules tend to manifest themselves in some pretty loud and abrasive ways. You can probably picture it with little Tom has Jerry in a headlock. I could do better than that. Where Cristiano has Lionel in a headlock because they're scrapping over the same Lego piece that they want, even though there's 30 identical Lego pieces beside them. But at this age, these behaviours are normal. They're still learning the skills for delayed gratification and controlling impulses. So to help you picture what happens when your child is acting on impulse, or you, when we're faced with a stressful situation, our fight or flight part of our brain, the amygdala, sends out a rush of signals. Now some are going to signal the release of the stress hormones like adrenaline, getting us ready for a fight. And the others are going up to the upstairs part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, which helps us sort of manage feelings and respond rationally. And it's up here that the proper control of all of our impulses happens. Now this can be strengthened and developed through life experiences, but also some other cool little ways that you can find here. But the important thing to note, of course, is that children haven't had a wealth of life experiences in order to strengthen this part of the brain. So it's important that we have realistic expectations and appropriate expectations for their behaviour. The likelihood is, in the Cristiano and Lionel scenario, if Cristiano is your child, then you'll go over and, what are you talking about? There's 30 other green pieces down here. Or you tell them, we do not put Lionel in a headlock. We must share. Give Lionel a piece now. Telling them what to do might work in the short term. I mean, he might immediately give up the Lego piece. He will hopefully release Lionel from the headlock. But the point is, this is a learning opportunity, and the learning hasn't happened. The pathways in the brain haven't been built. The fight or flight part of their brain, the kind of stress has kicked in a bit because they've got a giant shouting at them, telling them what to do. So here are 5 simple ways you can turn these conflict scenarios into learning opportunities and help your children resolve their own conflicts in future. So number 1 is your approach and your positioning. So it's really important that when you do approach this, having observed for a short period of time to kind of get an idea of what's going on, approach calmly, because they don't need a third wild beast coming into the fight. What they need is a voice of reason from someone they trust. And here you also need to think about your positioning. It's really important that while they are in times of stress or in conflict, that you are talking to them from as below their eye line as possible. This immediately makes you less of a threat, and it will turn off their defense mechanisms and actually be willing to open up a bit, as you'd be pretty unwilling or unable to learn if there was a giant stood over you, shouting at you, telling you what to do. Number 2 is to acknowledge their feelings and then express your own. During this time, their feelings and their emotions are sort of the most important thing to them. In a real moment of stress, this is the end of the world. So acknowledging that they might feel cross or frustrated or angry, it's going to help them feel understood and heard, because if you don't do that, they're going to feel like they need to show more of this emotion to be heard. Another thing to bear in mind is it's important not to guess how they're feeling, because however emotionally intelligent we think we are, we're probably not going to get it right every time. So something you could say is, "God, your face is telling me you look really cross, is that right?" Then express your own feelings about, similar scenarios you have. I get mad when someone takes my toys as well. This is all part of the sort of modelling control of feelings or regulation of emotions. So the third thing you need to do is to restate the problem to the both of them. This is assuming there's two of them in a fight. Not only does this help them feel understood, but it also helps you gain an understanding of what's going on so you can guide the resolution. So you'd ask both Cristiano and Lionel for their side of the story, and then you restate it back. It's worth taking out any hurtful language so you're not the one saying that. So I wouldn't say to Lionel, and then Cristiano said, that little git took my Lego piece. But what I might say is, Cristiano felt upset too because you both wanted that piece, didn't you? And number 4, which is the real game changer, is ask them for ideas of how they can resolve this conflict. You'll honestly be surprised how great they are at coming up with their own solutions. You might find, of course, that they just can't agree, at which point you might come up with some fair solutions yourself. Something like, well, Cristiano had it first, should I put the timer on for 2 minutes and then Lionel, you have a turn? That always works. And if they're not quite there, everyone at this point is going to be a lot calmer than they were initially, so maybe just a bit more of a discussion will bring them down further and open up more possibilities. But obviously we're after a real learning opportunity where they come up with their own solutions, so allowing them to, they might even get to that point themselves, but allowing them to discuss and think about possible solutions and problem solve is how they're going to be able to do this in future. And when they have come up with some solutions, congratulate the hell out of them for it. Give me 5, Lionel. Fist bump, Cristiano. Reward the effort they made to problem solve. That's how they'll be encouraged to keep doing it. And then the 5th thing you need to do is to follow it up. There's a possibility that they've come to this great verbal agreement, but that doesn't really happen in practice. So it's really helpful, and you'll find steers it to exactly the course you want by just gently reminding them, Cristiano, remember you said Lionel could have it for 2 minutes? Something like that. There we go, 5 simple steps to help your children resolve their own conflicts. You can subscribe to us right here, or you could watch the video that YouTube recommends up there, or how about one of our favourites just there. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and see you again.